Good morning.
Good morning.
I am, as always, very pleased to be here with you. As you know, most of you have been here as we have worked our way and loved our way through our vision, mission, and core values. And so the core value for today that we're discussing, as you can see up here, is love. And I chose the talk title, which is Love is All That I Am. And for some, you may say, well, I don't know that I'm always all love. And I would say, yeah, you are always all love, if you choose that. And if you don't, you are still love. You are the essence of love, and love is God, and who we know as God. But let's talk a little bit more about this concept of love. You will note in 1 Corinthians, the scripture that I read, and many of you are very familiar with that scripture. It talks at the very end about when I was a child, I loved like a child, I was like a child, I hoped like a child, and then I put away childish things. And I've had folks say to me, well, I thought we were supposed to love and live like a child in that purity of a childlike love. Well, I'm here today, this morning, because I'd like to discuss the fact, yes, the purity of a childlike love is with us. It is part of us. It is part also of our growing up in love. Now, that's a new concept for some people, meaning we have a journey in growing into a higher form of love, divine love. So when the scripture talks about putting away childish things in the way of being childish, it's not talking about love's purity. It's talking about how initially, as young people, young persons, we use love out of pure self-preservation. I love myself, and I'm going to take care of myself, and it could be at your expense. That is what we call a childlike love of self. And what I'm asking and challenging us to do this morning is talk about growing up love, about coming up higher in how we love. Not when we love, because I do believe we all on some level love all the time because we are spiritual beings, because we have that essence. Here's what Charles Fillmore says, which I always find very interesting. This is out of Keep a True Lent, which, by the way, is my opportunity to remind you all that Lent begins this Wednesday with Ash Wednesday. And some of you are immediately saying, no, we have Shrove Tuesday, we have Fat Tuesday, we have Mardi Gras. Yeah, we got all that, but Lent starts Wednesday, the 1st of March, with Ash Wednesday. And I know some do not practice Lent, don't want to hear about Lent because it's a throwback to something they were raised with, possibly. I find that Lent is a time for preparation, for reflection on the ultimate transformation, the risen Christ, and that is the Christ consciousness with us, which is what we prepare for, we walk through. And then we have Palm Sunday, and then we have the ultimate celebration, which is Easter. So I find that Lent is a time, and yes, I'm digressing a little bit here now, because I would really like for you to take an opportunity that Lent provides to all of us to go deeper in our reflection of our spiritual work. And there are Lenten booklets that have been here, and please feel free to take one if you'd like to have a daily guide as we walk through Lent. And we will celebrate Lent here on each of the 5 Sundays, Palm Sunday and then Easter. And I'm bringing that to your attention because I think it is a wonderful opportunity to really take this segment of time and go deeper in reflecting who you are spiritually. Now, back to Fillmore and love. What Fillmore says is divine love is present all the time. Here's what he says. There's a distinction, however, between love of the divine type, exercised by divine man, and love of the human type, exercised by mortal man. It requires discriminating judgment to distinguish between human and divine love. And we often do not make the distinction. It takes judgment, understanding, and wisdom to clearly understand the difference, if you will, in divine love and human love. And here, let me finish. All love is divine in its origin, but in passing through the prism of man's mind, it is apparently broken into many colors. Yet, like the ray of white light, it remains pure. I bring that to you from Fillmore because I'm not sure all of us can think of that all the time, that the purity of light is with us all the time. Love, divine love, is the origin of all love. When man takes on that divine love and runs it through the prism of our minds, it takes on various colors, various energies. We have a love of children, we have a love of spouse, we have a love of our fellow man, and we have a love of ourself. And there are all other different variations on those main themes. And it helps us understand how we get confused between the love of man, mortal man, and divine love. Let's talk a little bit more about divine love. Divine love is the force that dissolves all the opposers, as Fillmore says, of true thought, and thus smooths out every obstacle that presents itself. Or, as Holly Sharp says, who's a minister, love is the individual expression of the omnipresence of God. Love is our authentic identity. Love is all we are. Love is you and me is us. Love is an energy, and love is a creative force. And I am talking about that as divine love. And then if you choose to access that, open that, enhance that, and engage it, that is you. That is you because you are of God. You are of the purity, the clarity, the perfection of spirit. If you choose to open yourself to that. Spirit, as we've said each and every time, is just waiting for the invitation. We talked yesterday in prosperity class about abundance. Abundance is everywhere, everywhere present, all the time. Abundance is God. Love is God. God is present all the time in all things. God will never leave you. You may have an opportunity in which to leave God, but Spirit, God, abundance, call it what you will, love, is all, is everywhere present, all good. It is also our first principle. Love, the divine love that we are talking about, is a love, and I read this to you, it is a love where we love ourselves so much that we shall be loving and unselfish toward others and unwilling to ensure our own good at their expense. How often are we not loving enough, both of ourselves and others, to ensure that what we want, what we need, who we are, is going to be at the expense of someone else? And we do it very subtly sometimes. We do it in the name of, well, I know what's best for you. I love you, therefore I'm going to tell you exactly how I feel. And oftentimes, that's exactly when we are not in divine love. We are in human love. There's nothing wrong with human love. What I'm challenging you to do is to understand divine love and how you can access that, and how, as Walter Starkey says, you can go beyond that by being the love. Not loving outside of yourself, simply being love. And if you're not certain what it means to just be love, I'm not talking about being in love. That's a human form of love. I'm talking about simply being love, loving everything all the way through, loving yourself all the way through, loving the parts of you that you don't think are whole, or that have fault, or that you don't like, and asking you to see if you can come from a divine perspective and see those parts of yourself, bless them, and use them as the lessons of inclusive love that Jesus taught. And the lessons are, I will look at those things about myself that I might not like, And I will not resist them. I will add them, enhance them, and turn them, transformed, into parts that I can use to strengthen the whole of me. Very often, I've certainly been told, well, that's not a good thing about you. That's a personality trait you should learn to get rid of, girl. And I believed. I thought, oh, wow, I won't be liked if I don't get rid of some of these personality traits. These people are doing me a good favor. They're telling me, buck up, girl, get rid of them and you'll move forward. No, you see, I think it comes from a different perspective. When you are in divine love and when you understand that higher perspective of the divinity of divine love in you, you accept all, you love all, and you use the allness of who you are, the God of who you are, to incorporate, love, and regenerate all of the good that is you. You don't banish them. You don't badmouth them. You don't take them as being reality because someone told you that's a part of you that you need to get rid of. I'm asking you in your own divinity to stand in your own love. Love of self, love of fellow man. And love all the way through. And at no one's expense. There's no selfishness in love. You heard that in the scripture. Many times we will say we love someone, and we say we love them because we want something from them. I'll tell you I love you if you tell me you love me. And sometimes it isn't even spoken. There's a give and a get in human love, sometimes. Ask yourself, how am I loving my fellow man? Do I love all my fellow man? Do I love all the way through? Is my love maturing as I work with this? Am I growing up in my love? Am I becoming wise? Am I using the parents of judgment and wisdom to grow my love spiritually? Am I looking at the divinity in me as the love in me? You see, it takes persistence and commitment to really work at this idea of understanding divine love and how it is different than human love. Divine love asks us actually nothing. It's not selfish. It doesn't know selfish. It doesn't know irritability. It doesn't know this is mine and that's yours. Divine love is all, is everywhere, is everything, and it is in you. Going beyond love, where we become the love, is what we call in metaphysics ascension consciousness. Some of you understand the word ascension, especially as it relates to the time of Easter and after Easter. You can have an ascension consciousness, just like you have a Christ consciousness, anytime you open to the Christ of who you are. Anytime that you ascend in the way that you love yourself and other human beings. It is extremely powerful. It is the one creative force in the universe. If you but access it, if you direct it with the wisdom and the judgment that you also have as attributes of God. Going beyond love means being love in everything, in all that you do. It does take, as I said, commitment and persistence. Jesus spoke of the inclusivity of loving all of you and called it agape love. It loves all of you, it loves all of everyone. And if you want to put it to the test, do we not live in a world today where you get up and say, why is that person in front of me again? Why is that being said? How come they're doing that again? There ain't no loving going on there. Just think about it, how easily it comes to us when we slide into that. This community has chosen love as one of its core values. When you choose core values, as this community has done and did a fine job, is doing a fine job, then it comes to you. Do you believe them? Do you honor them? And do you place them in your life and in your heart? That's the work ahead of us. It is spiritual work. It is human work. It is all God. And it's all you. And I close with this one. This is actually from Ella Fitzgerald. Just don't give up trying to do what you really want to do. Where there is love and inspiration, I don't think you can go wrong. She goes on to say, we are speaking of a love that is the essence of all of life. We are talking about that love that causes the heart to beat and the breath to breathe. We are talking about that love that proclaims or announces the Spirit, God. Think about it. When you live as love, you proclaim the living Spirit that you are. I challenge you today to love all that comes into your experience. No matter what, love it anyway. You can't go wrong, says Ella. God bless you.